From Zero to Millionaire. Welcome to Bookshare Audio, where every idea awakens the mind and every truth becomes a guide to transformation. Today, we explore From Zero to Millionaire, not as a story of wealth, but as a journey into how ordinary people can build extraordinary financial freedom through patience, discipline, and understanding. This is not a tale of luck or genius. It is a revelation about how simplicity, time, and behavior can turn small beginnings into lasting abundance. We live in a world where the idea of becoming a millionaire feels both fascinating and impossible. Everywhere we look, we're surrounded by the illusion that success comes from privilege, timing, or some secret code reserved for the chosen few. But this book strips away that illusion. It shows us that wealth is not a miracle, it is a process. And the process begins not with money, but with mindset. It begins the moment we stop chasing the next big thing and start understanding how value, patience, and compounding work quietly and visibly in our favor. The author begins with a confession. He once believed he could predict the market, outsmart everyone, and get rich fast. Like many of us, he thought the key was to be clever, to find that one brilliant move that would change everything overnight. But the market humbled him. His $10,000 vanished in weeks. That painful loss became his awakening, not because he failed, but because he finally saw that wealth does not reward impatience or ego. It rewards clarity, consistency, and courage over the long term. That single experience mirrors what millions of people face. The moment when they realize that chasing quick wins only leads to exhaustion and loss, while the real path to wealth is quiet, often boring, but deeply rewarding. What makes From Zero to Millionaire powerful is its honesty. It doesn't glorify risk-taking or portray investing as a game of luck. It teaches us to unlearn the myths that keep us poor. The myth that we need to be experts. The myth that we must follow the news every day. The myth that we can time the market. And the biggest myth of all, that we are too late to begin. In truth, we are never too late. Every dollar invested wisely, every day lived with purpose, becomes part of a story that expands over time. At its heart, this book reveals a simple truth. Investing is not about predicting the future, it's about aligning with how the world grows. Every day, businesses innovate, people work, and economies expand. By owning a piece of that collective effort through stocks or index funds, we participate in humanity's progress. That is the miracle of compounding, where time multiplies value not by magic, but by mathematics and patience. The earlier we start, the more time becomes our partner. And if we start later, consistency still gives us power, because it's not the amount we invest that matters most, but the discipline to stay the course. The book teaches us to see investing as an act of peace, not panic. Every crash, every dip, every headline predicting disaster, they are storms meant to test our emotions, not destroy our goals. The wise investor does not run when it rains. They stay calm because they understand that after every storm, the market grows stronger. The ones who panic and sell lose twice, once when the market falls, and again when they never return in time to catch the recovery. One of the most powerful ideas here is that wealth is not built on intelligence, but on behavior. The market does not reward the smartest person, it rewards the most disciplined. History is full of brilliant people, even Isaac Newton, who lost fortunes because they couldn't control their emotions. Knowledge without emotional balance is useless in investing. True mastery lies not in guessing prices, but in mastering oneself, resisting greed in times of euphoria and fear in times of crisis. The book also reveals how easily we're seduced by the illusion of control. We believe that if we just find the right stock, the right trend, or the right expert, we'll finally win. But data proves otherwise. Over 90% of professional investors underperform the market. If the best trained experts can't consistently beat it, why should we think we can? That's where the wisdom of simplicity enters, through index investing. Instead of chasing one company, one sector, one moment, we invest in everything, the entire economy, the entire peloton of progress. And just as in a race, while individual riders may fall, the group keeps moving forward. This approach, investing in the broad market through low-cost index funds, isn't glamorous. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't give us the thrill of winning, but it works. It's slow, steady, and almost boring until you look back 20 years later and realize that what began as small contributions has turned into financial independence. The quiet investor wins not because they are lucky, but because they stayed, because they respected time more than timing. In From Zero to Millionaire, the author also uncovers the emotional traps that ruin investors. We crave excitement. We follow trends. We want to believe we found the next rare pearl, the company that will explode in value and make us rich. But as history shows, most rare pearls end up sinking entire ships. Whether it was the South Sea bubble in Newton's time, the dot-com craze of the 2000s, or the crypto rush of our era, the pattern is always the same. Excitement blinds reason. People buy at the top, panic at the bottom, and repeat the cycle for life. True wealth belongs to those who step out of that loop. The lesson is humbling. The world's greatest invention for creating wealth, the stock market, is also the world's greatest mirror for revealing human emotion. It shows us who we are when faced with uncertainty. Do we run? Do we cling? Do we believe? That reflection is worth more than any stock tip, because if we can learn to control ourselves in investing, we learn to control ourselves in life. Patience, resilience, and calm, these qualities not only grow our portfolios, they grow our character. Another striking truth the book emphasizes is that wealth is not built in moments of success, but in years of consistency. It's not the one-time profit that changes your life. It's the habit of saving, the discipline of investing regularly, and the ability to let compounding do its work without interference. When you invest steadily every month, regardless of headlines or market noise, you begin to detach from fear. You no longer ask, is this the right time? Because you know time itself is your greatest advantage. There's a profound dignity in this kind of investing, a quiet strength in choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. While others chase trends, the wise investor sleeps better, knowing their future is working for them even while they rest. This mindset frees us from the constant anxiety that modern financial culture promotes, the endless scrolling, comparing, and panicking. When we turn off the noise, as the author suggests, we rediscover something more important than profit: perspective. And that perspective changes how we see everything. We start to realize that wealth is not about how much we earn, but how much we keep and grow. It's about control, not over the market, but over our own habits. It's the ability to say no to unnecessary expenses today because we understand the value of tomorrow. Every dollar we don't waste becomes a seed that compounds silently in the garden of time. The author also challenges one of the most persistent myths, that a home is the best investment. It's not always true. A home gives comfort, yes, but not freedom. When we tie all our savings into the walls around us, we forget that real growth happens elsewhere, in assets that work for us, not ones that sit idle. The difference between the rich and the rest is not income, it's allocation. The wealthy let their money live in places that multiply, businesses, markets, and funds that represent human progress. This realization leads to a deeper philosophy of life. Investing isn't just about money, it's about how we choose to live. To invest is to believe in the future. Every share we buy is a vote of confidence in human creativity, in innovation, resilience, and our collective ability to grow through adversity. The stock market is not a casino. It's a reflection of human effort and enterprise. When we invest wisely, we are not gambling. We are partnering with the progress of the world. And yet, we must remain humble. Even the best investors make mistakes. Warren Buffett once lost 20% of his early capital, a loss that would be worth billions today. But he calls it a fairly big mistake and laughs because he knows that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every investor who succeeds has once failed. The difference is that they learned. They stopped seeking perfection and started practicing patience. They realized that the goal is not to avoid mistakes, but to survive them. Another essential lesson from the book is the power of detachment. The stock market plays with our emotions. It flatters, tempts, scares, and deceives. But the investor who wins learns to separate emotion from action. You cannot control the market, but you can control yourself. And once you master that, you gain the one advantage that no algorithm, no analyst, and no billionaire can replicate: composure. This composure extends beyond money. It shapes how we approach uncertainty in all areas of life. It teaches us to pause before reacting, to trust in cycles, to recognize that growth and decline are natural. What goes down will rise again if its foundation is sound. What rises too fast without roots will fall. That rhythm is not only financial, it's human. The book reminds us that the best investors are not gamblers, but gardeners. They plant seeds, water them, and wait. They don't dig up the soil every week to check progress. They trust the process. They know that real wealth is slow, that it grows silently in the background of our daily lives while we focus on living, learning, and giving. The act of investing, when done right, is not just financial, it's spiritual. It's a declaration of faith in time, effort, and the compounding of small, consistent actions. And that is the real essence of this book, to teach us how to live with purpose through money. Money itself is neutral. It amplifies who we are. If we are fearful, it makes us more afraid. If we are patient and grateful, it multiplies those qualities. Investing teaches humility because it constantly reminds us that we are part of something larger, a system of growth powered by human ambition, creativity, and persistence. Through the stories of history's greatest investors and the mistakes of those who try to cheat time, the author drives home one universal law. Success in the market mirrors success in life. You can't rush it, you can't force it, you can't fake it. You can only nurture it, step by step, with faith and discipline. If there is one final message this book leaves us with, it's this: wealth is not the destination. It's the reward for understanding how to live well. When you take control of your finances, you take control of your time. And when you control your time, you control your freedom. That freedom is not about quitting work or buying luxury. It's about living on your own terms, choosing what matters, helping who matters, and becoming who you truly are without fear of running out of time or money. So start small. Start today. even if it's just a few dollars, even if you think it's too late. The act of beginning is itself a declaration of confidence in your future. As you invest, you'll learn not only about markets, but about yourself. You'll see how your emotions rise and fall, how patience grows stronger, and how every small decision adds up. That is how you go from zero to millionaire, not through shortcuts, but through steady, intentional living. This is not a story about money. It is a story about mindset, about learning to replace fear with understanding, noise with focus, and impatience with peace. It's about learning to let go of the fantasy of getting rich fast and embracing the beauty of growing rich slowly. Because in the end, it's not the millions that change your life, it's the mastery you build along the way. And when that mastery comes, you'll realize something profound, that true wealth isn't measured by numbers in an account, but by the freedom to spend your life doing what matters most, to love without fear, to rest without guilt, to give without hesitation. That is the message of From Zero to Millionaire, that ordinary people, through patience, knowledge, and trust in time, can create extraordinary lives. Don't forget to like and subscribe and request the next book you'd like us to feature in the comments below. Thank you.